Today we're going to make homemade soft pretzels. We're going to make cinnamon sugar pretzels and we're going to make some plain pretzels. Welcome to our brick oven lifestyle. So we're making homemade soft pretzels today, and I've got Adrienne, my awesome friend, helping me to make these pretzels. She loves pretzels. So the first thing we're going to do is mix up the dough. We have a bowl here. We'll set it up a little closer. And Adrienne, could you pour a cup of milk into the bowl? Good job. It's so much easier when I don't have to do it. 2 tablespoons of sugar. I use a raw sugar. You can use whatever kind you want. 2 teaspoons of yeast, active dry yeast, 2 tablespoons of butter. It's warm out today, it's starting to melt already. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Adrienne, could you stir this up for me?
Yes.
Before we put the last ingredient in. That's good. It's 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to add right into that bowl. And then I also have a little bit of extra, maybe it's 1/4 to 1/2 cup of flour I keep for extra when we get ready to roll these pretzels out. So we'll just set that aside for now. Go ahead and mix that up until it combines really well and you get that stuff off the side of the bowl. It will start kind of thickening up here as you go. If it's just a little bit too soft, too sticky, we'll put just a little bit of this flour into it. It really depends a lot on the humidity or the lack of humidity and how much flour you use in recipes. That's looking good.
It's more flaky, kind of.
Yeah. And yeah, the main idea is just kind of get it off the sides of the bowl. Don't worry about mixing it real thoroughly in, because we'd like to reuse this bowl to let the dough rise in. That's pretty good. All right, so at this point, that's pretty good. We're going to finish kneading it on the cutting board, so why don't you use that cutting board so we don't end up right in the center where we have a split here. And you're just going to dump that out onto the board. Good job. And you can use your hands and just clean that bowl out. All right, I'll take the bowl, I'll clean it out a little bit for you while you're doing that. Now you're going to want to start to knead that. If it's real sticky and it's sticking to your fingers, then we're going to add a little bit more of that flour. I don't like to wash any more bowls than I have to. I don't like to make the girls wash more bowls than they have to. That's pretty good. That's looking good. And you want to get it to a point where it's still a little bit sticky. It wants to stick to your hands, but you can pull it away from your hands too. If you let it get too dry, then the pretzels tend to be too hard and thick, and you don't want that with the pretzels. Okay, how's it looking?
Good.
Adrienne?
It's a little bit sticky still.
Good.
It feels pretty good.
That's how we want it to be. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of cooking spray and just coat this down. The bowl doesn't have to be completely clean of flour, and then we're just going to put that on top and put a little bit more spray on. This keeps it from sticking, and we're just going to put a cover over that plastic wrap. And we'll let this sit for about an hour or until it doubles in size. All right, so our dough has risen now. It looks about double, don't you think,
Yes,
Adrienne?
it looks really good.
Good, that's what we want to see. You can take that out of the bowl, just pour it out there. And if it's a
goes
little,
right out.
yeah, if it's a little bit too sticky, we'll put a little bit of this additional flour that we had set aside down. Do you need a little bit on the
Probably
surface?
just a little bit.
Let's just sprinkle some here. We don't want to do too much because we don't want to make the pretzels real dry, but that looks good. Now, would you make that into a shape where you feel comfortable dividing that in half? I usually use like a log shape. It just is easier for me to see. Some people do more of just a round shape, but for some reason that just works for me.
Is this good?
That looks really good. Now go ahead and find the middle, and if you don't know where it is, you can make a little mark and check it and say, yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
That looks good. Go ahead and cut that. And then do 3 pieces for each of the halves you cut. And you can cheat a little bit. If your pieces aren't quite right, you can take a little bit from one to add to another. I do that often. That looks you did a really good job. It's like you did this before. All right, so next step, how about if I put you over here? We'll switch sides since it's cleaner. And yep, take one of your pieces and yep, start rolling
it out.
We'll set these over a little bit farther. And then I will get the flour out of the way here. And we want to roll these pretzels out to about 30 inches. We want to try to keep them uniform. So we're just going to make a mark using our pastry cutter.
It keeps shrinking.
And they do that. And we're just going to use that as kind of our guideline so that we know we want to make them about that length. That way they'll all be pretty consistent so that they bake the same. Do you remember how to cross the pretzels?
I do.
All right, let's see how you do.
Okay.
Let's do about 2 inches at the top. I'm a perfectionist.
This?
Let's do
Like this?
Yeah, where you just have more like 2 inches there,
Don't
and
have
then
to
cross.
twist it twice.
Yes, and twist and pinch. Just a little bit of oil on the cooking sheet here, but the next thing we have to do before we put the pretzels on the tray is, so we have a cup of boiling water and that we boiled in, we just put it in the microwave. And then we have 1.5 tablespoons of baking soda. And we put that together and combine it. All I have is a fork, so a fork will work. Combine it. This is kind of one of the secrets to pretzels being pretzels. You have to dunk them in this baking soda mixture and water. So next we're going to put the pretzel carefully into this little water mixture, and we just want to dunk it so it gets completely saturated with the water, and then right onto the tray. And the pretzels tend to fall apart a little bit as you're working with them. And then we're going to do 2 more pretzels with this plain soft pretzel recipe. Good job. I'll just get out of your way.
Sorry. Okay. I think this is about good.
Yeah.
All right.
Now go ahead and do your pretzel thing. That one went easier.
That one did go a lot easier.
Good. And yeah, as like you did, push the ends down a little bit into the pretzel. That helps a little bit to hold them together. Good. We're done with the plain pretzels now. Before they get dry, I put a little bit of coarse salt on it. This is a sea salt, but you can use a pretzel salt. They have that too. And you just want to put on as much as you would like to have. Sprinkle it on while these pretzels, still are sticky, or else they won't. The pretzel salt won't stick real well to them. That looks pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah,
that looks good. Okay. So those are our plain soft pretzels. Now we're going to roll out pretzels, but we're going to do a cinnamon sugar. It's dipped in butter and then in cinnamon sugar.
All right.
Okay, so now I'm getting the butter ready here. You want melted butter. I did about a stick of butter in this pan, melt it down. And I've tried it in different containers to mix this. Having something shallow and where you can get your hands into it really is good because these pretzels are fragile and you don't want to move them more than you have to. So we're going to dip them in the butter and then we're going to put them into a brown sugar mixture. All right, so for the last 3 pretzels, we're going to do cinnamon sugar on top of them, well, surrounding them. It's going to require some butter that we dip them into, and then we have a brown sugar cinnamon mixture. I did about a stick of butter in here and a cup of raw sugar and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon to make my mixture. You can add or subtract that as you wish to, but I like it pretty buttery and cinnamony. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. Right,
Yes.
Adrian? And I like these pans because I don't have to move the pretzel around too much, because if you have a small bowl that you're working in that I found, it's really hard to keep the shape of the pretzel. But this way you can actually throw the brown sugar and cinnamon on top. This is actually good because my hands are all buttery now, so it's good to have 2 people doing this. So thank you for helping me
You are
today.
welcome.
And
Okay, is that good?
make sure you cover it all.
We like lots of cinnamon and sugar.
You want cinnamon sugar in every bite. And then you kind of pick it up
Might
and
be good.
kind of get a little bit of the excess off, and then I'll give you the next one. Very nice.
Put that in this.
Good.
All right.
And I'll grab the next one. Butter. We didn't really go by an existing recipe. We just went by our taste buds on the brown sugar and cinnamon butter mixture. And I think we did a pretty good job of it. Yeah. Okay, good job. It's amazing how much sugar and the cinnamon and sugar gets absorbed too when you use this much butter. When I first did, I used way too little cinnamon and sugar, so I doubled it. So we're going to put the pretzels in the brick oven at 425 degrees for 9 to 10 minutes. What I've noticed though with the brown sugar and cinnamon pretzels, they might need a minute or 2 extra, longer than the regular pretzels. So let's set our timer to 9 minutes, and we'll check them probably after 4 minutes and turn them if they need to be turned because they're getting a little too brown on one side. All right, Adrian, should we put them in the oven? Yep. Good job. Just leave them in there like that. Okay.
These will be good.
Nice job. All right, Adrian, are we ready?
We're ready.
Let's go ahead and check the pretzels and see if they're done.
Those look really good.
That looks really good. That's what we want. Don't want them overly brown. And let's check, see if we can turn one over. Just a little brown on the bottom. That's what we're looking for. Now it's time to go eat them. videos and like the brick oven lifestyle, please feel free to subscribe so we can send you new videos and updates.